reset. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
What's up, Mavs fans? I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it's been a while since I've been able to do one of these longer form videos. I appreciate all you guys that have kept up with me on YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok especially, and then of course on Twitter at all_things_Mavs. But you know, so much has happened in this offseason and so much is still going to happen in this offseason that I figured I got to come on here and just blab about my thoughts, because doing a bunch of 60-second videos is just doesn't do it justice. So let's dive into the Mavs. This is not going to be a super formatted video or podcast, but this is just something that I wanted to come on and just blab with you guys. Let's start off with Cooper Flagg. The number one pick in the NBA draft falls to the Dallas Mavericks on lottery night. I still cannot believe it. You can go watch my live reaction on TikTok. There's a clip on there to go see it. Still can't believe we got the number one pick, and I cannot believe we got it in the year where a guy like Cooper Flagg is the number one pick. Not just any – I mean, if we got the number one pick last year and you pick like a Zachary Risache, obviously you're happy, but you're not feeling immensely better about your future. Whereas with Cooper Flagg, you feel borderline untouchable. Like as a Mavs fan, it's like, all right, we are here now. We are ready to compete right now. And Cooper Flagg is he was the second youngest player in college basketball last year, and he's coming in and is going to be the face of our franchise for, if all goes well, the next 20 years. You just can't get better than that. I mean, you really can't. And I am so excited about him. I have watched so much Duke basketball. I've just watched reruns on reruns ever since the lottery and ever since we found out we were going to get that number one pick, that I have just watched his game, and I'm like, I'm blown away. I mean, I've never really watched a freshman come in and dominate the way that Cooper Flagg dominated. Everybody knows basically his game at this point. I'm not going to break down every little piece of his game. You guys, I mean, if you're a Mavs fan and you've paid attention at all, you know Cooper Flagg's game at this point. But some of the things that I think are just going to impact day one, defense is going to be huge. Rafael Barlow, I think it was, from NBA, he was locked on big board, and now I think he's doing his own thing, but he is a Dallas-based college scout. He has been doing this for a long time. He's done high school scouting, and I know Locked On guys have talked about this a lot, but he called Cooper Flagg the most, I think it was disruptive or impactful high school defender that he has ever scouted. And that says a lot. I mean, a guy that's been in the business as long as he has and has seen as many players as he has, like, that just says a lot. And then he came in and did it in college as well. I mean, he was just all over the place. He's a good perimeter defender. He is a great shot blocker. He gets his hand in passing lanes all the time. And that stuff is just going to translate right away. He's not the strongest guy in the world, but he has an NBA-ready body that he's going to be able to come in and check players from, honestly, like, the 1 to some small ball 5s. I really believe that. And I think we're going to see him play every single position in Jason Kidd's offense and defense. And I think it's just going to be incredible. And not only that, but I think we're going to really see his passing on display with this team, because he was a great passer at Duke when he was feeding Common Malawach down low. And so now imagine going from a college center to guys like Anthony Davis, future Hall of Famer, Derek Lively, a 2-year, about to be a 3-year pro, Daniel Gafford, one of the best finishers in the league right now. He is going to have so many opportunities to expand his passing game that I think we're really going to see what Jason Kidd has talked about and see his point guard skills on display. Is he going to be the point guard on day one? No. I know what Jason Kidd said in the introductory presser, but I take that more of they're going to let him run point guard, let Cooper Flagg run point guard a little bit in summer league, not right off the bat when he gets started as a rookie, because you can't put your rookie in that position right away, and you wouldn't go out and get a guy like D'Angelo Russell if you planned on starting Cooper Flagg at the 1. So we're going to be a little bit realistic there, but either way, I think he's going to impact the game in so many ways, and on a team that's ready to win, it's going to be a thing of beauty to watch as a Mavs fan, as a basketball fan. Like, even non-Mavs fans, I think, are going to be tuned in, ready to watch a lot of Cooper Flagg, and rightfully so. The kid is electric, a great athlete. I think he's one of the toughest competitors I've ever seen come out of college, and he's coming out as the second youngest guy in college. Like, that is just baffling to me that he started his college career as a 17-year-old and then won Player of the Year, not Freshman of the Year, Player of the Year. I think it was the 5th freshman to ever do that. I know it was Kevin Durant, Zion Williamson, Anthony Davis, and then I think maybe he was only the 4th. Maybe he was the 4th. Maybe I had that wrong. Maybe Cooper Flagg was the 4th. I'm again, like I said, this is really off the cuff, just off the top of my head. I'm just talking here and blabbing about the summer the Mavs have had, because ultimately it has been a good summer. it has not been a perfect summer. I think in a perfect world, the Dallas Mavericks would have been able to trade for a very elite high-level point guard like a Kobe White. But it has still been a great summer. You get the number 1 pick, you add him for nothing. And then on draft night, let's talk about draft night where they added 2 more two-way guys. They added Miles Kelly out of Auburn, who I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know a lot about his game, and I'm honestly not going to dive in a whole lot to it, but he's on a 2-way contract. But he's a good shooter, a good defender out of Auburn. We'll see a lot of him in Summer League. And then the one that I'm actually excited about, Ryan Nembhard. Yes, brother of Andrew Nembhard, although they're very different players. Ryan Nembhard led college basketball in assists last year, and the next closest guy was 200 assists under him. I think I have that number right. I could be making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. A great passer, a point guard wizard. He's going to come in Summer League at least, he's going to be huge for Cooper Flagg. Playing with guys that can pass the ball in Summer League is night and day. If you went and watched Summer League a few years ago, when it was Jaden Hardy, Omax Prosper, Derek Lively, and they had nobody to get them the ball, it's ugly basketball. But being able to watch a guy like Ryan Nembhard come in and set guys up, that's going to help Cooper Flagg a ton. And then I think he's going to get a chance, when the season rolls around. Now, he's going to be buried behind some other guys, so let's kind of transition to that point guard position the Mavs are in now. You went out and you signed D'Angelo Russell for the taxpayer mid-level exception. I'll circle back on him. Hold on. You re-signed Dante Exum. I'll circle back on him as well. You still have Brandon Williams. And then Ryan Nembhard's down here. Now, for Nembhard, Exum deals with injury issues. Brandon Williams has dealt with injury issues. So there's a chance that maybe Nembhard can slide in and get some minutes behind D'Angelo Russell. That is possible. I'm not expecting it, but it's a chance. And so I think that's a guy that, you can look at and be excited about in a way. But you have to remember, this guy's only 6 feet tall. He's not a dynamic, great scorer, but he can score. He can shoot the ball. But his thing is passing. He's going to go in. He's going to set his teammates up. He could have a game, where he comes in and gets 15 assists and takes 2 shots, honestly. But you know what? That's what Dallas needs. That's really what the Mavericks need. They have enough guys that will go out and take shots. They have enough guys that will go in and get down low and dunk the ball and finish around the rim. They have 2 passers now, I think, in D'Angelo Russell and Ryan Nembhard. And obviously Cooper Flagg is an underrated passer, but he's still a rookie as well, and he had 1 good season of passing at Duke. Ryan Nembhard has had 4 good seasons of passing in college. That's what he does. We know this is what he does. But again, he's a 2-way guy. The Mavs still have 1 2-way spot available. I believe they'll probably leave that open until the end of Summer League, and then they'll kind of evaluate what their options are. And I think when you look at the Summer League team, there are some intriguing names on that roster. Melvin Aginsa, the rookie from that the Mavs drafted in the second round 2 years ago. He's coming back over from France to come play in Summer League. We'll see if he earns that spot. He's still super young. I would be a little surprised if he got that 2-way spot, but it's possible. The other name that I'm watching really closely is Maxwell Lewis. Maxwell Lewis played, he was drafted by the Lakers. He was the 40th overall pick in 2023. And then he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets, actually with D'Angelo Russell. And then he started playing 20 minutes a game for the Nets, albeit it's the Brooklyn Nets, but still he played 20 minutes per game for the Nets, and became a regular in their rotation. And then he broke his tibia, and he was out for the rest of the season in, I think it was the 1st of February or the 1st of January now. I can't remember. Whatever it was. A great athlete, a very intriguing prospect. I will be watching him closely for that 3rd 2-way spot. I'm always on the team of, if you can get more wings, go get more wings. And Maxwell Lewis is a bigger wing that I think would slide in well there. And then I think his name, I'm kind of blanking right now. Hold on. I'm going to look it up because I don't want to butcher this too bad. Nolan Hickman. Nolan Hickman out of Gonzaga. He's a shooting guard. He played with Ryan Nembhard. He and Nembhard started 69 of their last 70 games together over the past 2 seasons, and he was a great shooter. I'm pulling up his stats right now. He shot 44.5% from 3 last season, and that was on nearly 5 attempts per game. So you get a shooter, a really good defender as well. He's an older guy. He played all 4 years in college. He's a guard. He's going to be kind of that 2-guard level, and the Mavs need more shooters. And so maybe Hickman comes in and surprises us in Summer League, and he's a guy that gets that 3rd 2-way. But those are probably the 3 guys that I'm watching the closest: Melvin Aginsa, Nolan Hickman out of Gonzaga, and then Maxwell Lewis. And I think Maxwell Lewis is probably going to be the favorite for that spot. But again, Aginsa was a guy the Mavs hand-selected 2 years ago, not this last draft, but the draft before. So who knows? He could get the spot as well, but I'll be excited to watch all those things in Summer League. Let's talk about D'Angelo Russell a little bit. D'Angelo Russell signs with the Dallas Mavericks for the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is like $5.7 million, I think. So mid-level exception is $14 million. That's like big money. Like that can go to bigger free agents. And then their taxpayer mid-level exception is that $5.7 million. And the Mavs wooed D'Angelo Russell into taking the starting point guard role for the Mavs up until Kyrie gets back. And look, D'Angelo Russell last year did not have a good year with the Brooklyn Nets and, a little bit of time with the Lakers as well. He was scoring about 13 points per game, still 5-6 assists per game, but his shooting is really what took a dip. He shot 33% with the Lakers, 31% with the Brooklyn Nets, 29% with the Brooklyn Nets. But historically, D'Angelo Russell is a good shooter. I mean, the year before with the Lakers, he shot 42%. The year before that was 41%, 39, 34, 39, 35, 37. I mean, historically, D'Angelo Russell is a good shooter. So I think it was a down year for him. I'm not taking any account into that. And you look at his assist numbers at averaging 5.6 assists per game and only 0.7 turnovers. I mean, that is really, really good. And this is a guy that has made an all-star team in the past. He was the second overall pick back in the day. Has he had his moments of just being an immature dum-dum? Yes, absolutely. But I think those days are behind him. He's talked a lot about how he wants to move on past that. He has a podcast that I would recommend you guys go listen to. He talks a lot about maturing and growing in that. And he's coming into a situation where he's ready to win. And he has a lot of connections to this Dallas Maverick team already. Anthony Davis, there's nobody on the Lakers that assisted Anthony Davis more than D'Angelo Russell except for LeBron James. There is a true pick-and-roll chemistry there that a lot of people just aren't talking about, and it exists. And I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Davis went to Nico Harrison and said, dude, I want D'Angelo Russell. I think he'd be a good addition to this team, and he can unlock Anthony Davis in a way that AD has not been unlocked yet in Dallas. And I think that's really important because AD, we all saw it. When Kyrie went down and AD came back, it was a lot of give AD the ball in the mid to low post and let him go to work. And that can work at times. It did work at times, but that's not what you want to do for an 82-game season. That's going to wear on his body, which we already know is a little fragile. We're going to be honest. It is fragile. I mean, he has shown that he is injury prone, and so I don't want him being the primary creator the entire time. I just don't. But I do think you get a guy like D'Lo that's going to sub in and start 40 to 50 games until Kyrie gets back, and you're cooking. I really think it's a great duo. And so now I think about the starting lineup, and you've got D'Angelo Russell. I really think at this point Cooper Flagg is going to start at the 2, but it's going to be a lot of positionless basketball. So it's going to go D'Lo, Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively. I think that's your starting lineup on opening night. Klay Thompson coming off the bench, Max Christie coming off the bench, Najee Marshall coming off the bench, Dante Exum coming off the bench, Brandon Williams coming off the bench, Daniel Gafford coming off the bench. That is a deep team. I mean, I think we're talking about 1 to 12, probably the deepest team in the NBA. Now, top-heavy talent and injuries are going to play a role. We all know that. So I'm not going to make any major sweeping predictions right now. But if you're talking 1 through 12, I don't think there's a lot of teams that have that much talent, have as much talent as the Dallas Mavericks are going to have next season when healthy. And then obviously Kyrie Irving comes back, and then D'Lo moves to that 6-man role. And a lot of people want to talk about, well, D'Angelo Russell disappears in the playoffs. Okay, but look where he's been in the playoffs. He has been asked to be the primary decision maker every time he's been in the playoffs with the Brooklyn Nets, with the Minnesota Timberwolves, with the Lakers. Yeah, he's disappeared because he's been the point guard. Guess what? Come playoff time, D'Angelo Russell is coming off the bench and playing 20 to 22 minutes a game instead of 30 to 35 minutes a game. That is a totally different role, and a role that I think he's going to excel at. Is the defense a problem? Yes. I saw somebody, I think it was Mavericks Digest, who, shout out to Mavericks Digest, love you, dude, but he said, I think D'Angelo Russell is going to be a, quote, great defender next season. I'm not going that far. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. I don't think D'Angelo Russell is going to be a great defender by any means, but guess what? I think you could throw 5'11", 6-foot Ryan Nembhard out there as a starting point guard. And when you have Cooper Flagg, one of the best defensive rookie prospects we've ever seen, PJ Washington, one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA that any team would love to have, Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year candidate all the time, and Derek Lively, one of the best rim protectors in the NBA behind whoever at point guard, you're going to be able to get away with a less than ideal defender at that point guard position. So I'm okay with it. And look, I've seen people call me out for hyping up the D'Lo signing too much, but I'm still being realistic about it. I understand that D'Angelo Russell is not going to come in and be the all-star that he was in 2019. I'm not expecting that. I'm not saying D'Angelo Russell is going to come in and save the team and lead the team in points and assists, although I do think he could lead the team in assists because his passing is really going to surprise some people. He's a great, great passer. But I'm not saying that his passing is going to save the day. It's just not. That's not what's going to happen. Or his scoring is going to save the day. He's going to make some dumb mistakes. I know that. But you're getting a guy that was on an $18 million contract last year for $5.7 million. There was a report out there. I think it was either Kevin Gray. I think it was Kevin Gray. Kevin Gray of DLS Sports said that D'Lo turned down 2 other lucrative offers to play for the Dallas Mavericks. I tend to believe that because D'Lo is a guy that I think would be a super 6 man on a lot of bad teams or a lot of good teams or a starting point guard on a lot of bad teams. And now he gets to be the starting point guard on the Mavs for half of a season. It's on a prove-it deal. He's kind of got a 2-year deal with a player option on the second year. If he plays great, he opts out, goes and gets some more money. Maybe he stays with Dallas. If he opts in, great. The Mavs have their backup point guard for next year behind Kyrie Irving. It's just that simple. And I still think he can play with Kyrie. You know, Kyrie and D'Lo talked about there was rumors going around that they were going to be in Brooklyn at the same time. D'Lo left for Golden State, and Kyrie signed in Brooklyn. That ended up happening. But Kyrie talked about how he was envisioning him and D'Angelo Russell playing together. And so maybe they get that chance now because D'Lo is a really good catch-and-shoot player. He's obviously going to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to initiate a lot. But he is a great catch-and-shoot player. By the way, I'm looking at his numbers now. I was wrong on the turnover numbers. Last year, he actually averaged about 1.9 turnovers per game, but he still averaged 5.7 assists per game. So still, the assist-to-turnover ratio is still really, really good. You'd obviously love to see those turnovers come down, but he's going to have some turnover mistakes. I mean, that's just D'Lo. That's what you're going to get. And the highs are really high with D'Lo, but the lows are really low. But the good news is the Mavs went out and they re-signed Dante Exum. Dante Exum was reportedly receiving interest from the Lakers and the Knicks as well, and I think another contender was out there going after him. I can't remember. But Exum comes back. Obviously, he dealt with some weird injuries last year, but he has always dealt with injuries throughout his career. That's just something you have to take into account with Exum. But he showed, not last year, but the year before, that he really does bring a lot to this team. And I think when you start to look at every guard that the Mavs now have, you have D'Angelo Russell, and I'm taking out Kyrie Irving because Kyrie's going to be gone for a while. But you look at the guards the Mavs do have. D'Angelo Russell, Dante Exum, Brandon Williams, and then even Ryan Nembhard, I'll throw him in the mix. With D'Lo, you get a high-level scorer that is probably your best passer on the team. That's what you get with D'Lo, and a good shooter. With Exum, you get a guy, and also with D'Lo, the thing you're not going to get defense, and you're not going to get a guy that's going to get to the paint a whole lot. So 2 goods, 2 bads. With Exum, you get a solid catch-and-shoot player that can get to the paint and can defend. The thing you're not going to get with Exum is he's not going to go out and get his own shot very often, and his passing isn't amazing. He can set people up okay, but he's not a great passer. And then Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams is going to be your guy that's going to go in, get buckets, and get to the basket. Now, I am still interested to see what happens with Brandon Williams in terms of how many minutes he's going to get. I hope he plays because I think he can be really good in this league. It's just going to be tough to get minutes behind D'Lo and Exum if you're Brandon Williams. He's also a good shooter. He's shown that as well. The other thing with with Dante Exum is that the Mavs signed him with 15 guaranteed players under contract already. So the Mavs now have 16 players under contract. Something has to happen where the Mavs are going to have to cut one of those guys. Not cut. It could be a cut. They could waive somebody, or they could just straight up trade somebody. And I think there's a lot of rumors going around about Omax Prosper potentially getting traded. There's some rumors about Jaden Hardy getting shopped out there. And it wouldn't be a trade that they go out and trade 2 for 1 and bring back a really good player. It's probably going to be a trade, and then maybe they get a second-round pick and some cash. It's not going to be anything lucrative. I think everybody needs to pump the brakes on expectations on what you're going to get back for for Omax or Jaden Hardy. Either way, though, you've got to make the room, and I'd rather have Exum than either of those 2 guys, if we're being honest. And I know there's some Jaden Hardy believers out there. There's probably still some Omax Prosper believers out there. But for what this team wants to do and where it's going, those 2 guys just don't have a role on this team. And I don't think they should either. last little thing I want to talk about, let's talk about some coaching stuff. Jason Kidd obviously received a lot of interest from the Knicks. He's not going anywhere. There's a chance he receives an extension. Nothing official at this point of me recording this has happened, but there are still talks going on that he will receive an extension. Jared Dudley leaves for Denver. Sean Sweeney leaves for San Antonio. God Shamgod leaves for Orlando. A lot of panic on Mavs Twitter about assistant coaches leaving. I understand. However, Dallas has now brought in Frank Vogel as the lead assistant on the team. I'm sorry, but Frank Vogel is better than any of those three guys. Like, he's been a head coach in the NBA. He's won a championship in the NBA. He's got more experience than any of those other guys. Like, I'll take Frank Vogel over all those guys. Jay Triano comes in as an assistant. I think he's got the second chair. I don't know much about Jay Triano, but he's been around the NBA for like 20 plus years. He has head coaching experience. So again, Jason Kidd, who is a relatively inexperienced head coach, brings in two guys with a lot of experience. And now there's a rumor going around about the Mavs potentially hiring Phil Handy. Phil Handy has a great relationship with Kyrie Irving. He coached with the Lakers. He's got a good relationship with Anthony Davis, I believe. And I think that's another guy that you bring in, and that's a relationship manager kind of guy. I don't know a lot about Phil Handy's X's and O's. I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about any of these coaches' X's and O's. And I don't think anybody who tells you they understand how this coach draws up these plays and this coach can draw up these plays and he runs this and that. Like, okay, you don't know the ins and outs of what this guy is writing down on paper and what plays he's drawing every single time. Like, you just don't know the X's and O's as well as I think people want to believe they do. You bring in Phil Handy, that's a great relationship guy. Jason Kidd is a great relationship guy. And then one other guy that they're talking to, who I don't want to pat myself on the back too much here, but I did report back on June 10th that the Mavs were interested in bringing in Mike Penberthy, who was a Lakers coach, assistant coach with Jason Kidd on the bubble team. And Penberthy and Anthony Davis also have a great relationship. So a lot of these coaches you're looking at and you're just saying, man, vibes. And then you look at Triano and Vogel and you're like, okay, these guys know the game. They've been around the NBA long enough. Like, I think that's huge. I'm going to miss Dudley. I'm going to miss God Shamgod. Those guys were also great vibes guys. And Sean Sweeney was Jason Kidd's right-hand man. Those guys leaving, it hurts a little bit. But I think the staff that Kidd could be putting together now is going to be really good. And I think a lot of people are going to try to poach a lot of these coaches. So the Mavs need to watch out for future endeavors because there's a chance. But look, that's the main stuff right now. There are some LeBron James rumors. I'm not even going to call them rumors right now. There could be some buyout guys on the market like Bradley Beal that could come along that I'll be keeping my eye on. And hopefully I'll get to do more of these long form videos and podcasts more because I miss it. But look, and if you stuck around this long, thank you. But here's the deal. I got 2 babies. I've got a big boy job. I'm a married man. It is hard to sit down and do one of these every day like I did once upon a time, but I do miss that. And I appreciate everybody that stuck with me, all my subscribers and followers. I'm still very active on everything else. It's just these longer videos take some time to sit down, edit, record, all that fun stuff. But I like it, and I'm always going to be keeping up with the Mavs, and hopefully I can start doing this more often. That's the goal. So if you're here, you're probably already following me, but I'll give it a shout out to go ahead and follow my Twitter or X at all_things_Mavs. My Instagram is the same. And then I now have a new Twitter, all things NBA. It's all_things NBA, where I talk more generic basketball stuff, not just Mavs focused. And then I've got a friend of mine. His name's Austin Payne. He is running an All Things Thunder account. So if you see that out there, that is not me. I am not a Thunder fan. Please know that. I'm not a Thunder fan, but I do kind of want to expand this brand a little bit, and I think the Thunder is a good place to go because I've got a lot of connections with the Thunder. So if you want to help me out and go follow it at all_things_OKC, that's great. If you're a Mavs fan, you say, heck no, I'm not doing that. I don't blame you. You're good. You don't have to. But I appreciate everybody following me and checking in. So make sure you subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and I'll talk to you soon.